hot topic for content creators. This is where I pitch hot topics to you guys, and then you guys either turn around and you create content based on the topic that I pitch to you, or you can just go ahead and comment on the topic, and I will address your comments during a live broadcast. So my pitch was, is artificial intelligence even capable of creating art? One, more of a philosophical, metaphysical type question. But then a follow-up question was, what does it mean to separate the art from the artist? And can art become too far removed in this way? This is going mainstream. This topic is going mainstream, people. And this article comes courtesy of the Business Insider. So some points in the article, they talk about the OpenAI. OpenAI is a company founded by Elon Musk. Just made its DALL-E image generator open to the public. That was one of those apps that I was talking about before, where it's like you put in a prompt and it'll just auto generate like a visual illustration of some sort, or a digital image based on the keywords that you put in the prompt. It says artists say they work for years on their portfolios, and people can now make copycat images in seconds. Another point is, but some AI companies argue that the new artworks are unique and can be copyrighted. So let's go into the article here. This article specifically pertains to an artist by the name of Greg Rutkowski. So Greg Rutkowski is an artist with a distinctive style. He's known for creating fantasy scenes of dragons and epic battles that fantasy games like Dungeons and Dragons have used. He said it used to be, quote, really rare to see a similar style to mine on the internet, end quote. Yet if you search for his name on Twitter, you'll see plenty of images in his exact style that he didn't make. Rutkowski has become one of the most popular names in AI art, despite never having used the technology himself. People are creating thousands of artworks that look like his using programs called AI image generators, which use artificial intelligence to create original artwork in minutes or even seconds after a user types in a few words as directions. Rutkowski's name has been used to generate around 93,000 AI images on one image generator called Stable Diffusion, making him a far more popular search term than Picasso, Leonardo da Vinci, and Vincent van Gogh in the program. Quote, I feel like something's happening that I can't control, end quote. Rutkowski, who is based in Poland, told Insider, quote, my name is being used a lot to generate AI images, along with the names of other working artists, end quote. So here, let's take a look at some of these images here that they're talking about. So this is an example of his work, and this one is titled Dragon Cage by Greg Rutkowski. So as you can see, quite a stunning piece. Quite a stunning piece, I have to say. All right, now let's check out some of these AI works now. Now these ones right here that you can see were actually images that were created when Insider typed in dragon battle with a man at night in the style of Greg Rutkowski. This one right here actually looks I think this one looks the best out of the four of them. Even though this doesn't really look like a dragon, looks more like a dinosaur, but that's kind of splitting hairs. The landscape looks okay. This one right here, I have to say, the landscape looks better than the first one. However, the quote unquote dragon looks like a hot mess. This just looks like a big clusterfuck, I have to say. But the actual landscape itself looks really good. So if someone wanted to Photoshop, they could Photoshop the subject from that one and replace the subject in this one. And it'd probably actually be a pretty decent looking piece of art. Now, these other ones are similar in the sense that the landscape looks all right, not as good as the other ones. And the dragons look kind of wonky. Like, I don't really know what the hell's going on in this one with the wing here. The dragon, the posture on the dragon looks kind of messed up. The wing looks all funky. The lighting in it looks good. And like I say, the landscape looks pretty simple, but not bad. This dragon doesn't look bad. This, I have no idea what the hell is going on right here. This just looks like a glitchy ass mess. And again, I don't know what these random shapes are. That dragon in the background could probably be salvaged, and the landscape the background is not horrible, but still pretty generic. It's not nearly on the same level of quality as Rakowski's work, I have to say. In terms of detail of the subjects, but the landscape looks pretty good. But that's not really the point of the article, though. The point of the article is we're talking about the artist's names are being used. So it's almost like their artistic style, the AI is essentially hacking the artist's artistic style. So let's go on. We'll see what else is being said here. It says the AI image generators create images that are unique rather than collages pulled from stock images. Well, that's actually news to me, because I thought that's how the AI was working, that it was basically just scraping the internet and just basically molding or morphing photos. But apparently it's all unique. So that's interesting to know, and kind of eerie at the same time. So the article goes on to say, a user simply types words describing what they'd like to see, referred to as prompts, into a search bar. It's a bit like searching Google Images, except the results are brand new artworks created using the text in the user's search terms as instructions. This is crazy. It's like sci-fi stuff, man. One of the most common prompts is to use the name of an artist to create something mimicking their style. Quote, people are pretending to be me, end quote, Rakowski said. Quote, I'm very concerned about it. It seems unethical, end quote. Simon Stallenhag, an artist and designer based in Sweden, told Insider that although he isn't against AI-generated art in principle, he does take issue with how some people are using the new technology. Quote, people are selling prints made by AI that have my name in the title, he said. Something like rusty robot in a field in the style of Simon Stallenhag, which is a super aggressive way of using this technology, end quote. That's an interesting take. I would say, you know what? If I would almost say that, like, if someone was to use like AI generated art and then like try to pass it off as their own, or just want to use AI generated art in general. But then but instead of crediting an artist, they are very transparent about it, and they say, hey, the art, say if they're making a book cover or something, and they use the AI generated art to make a book cover, and then they instead of crediting an artist, they credit they reference the AI app that they used, but then they also share the title or the word prompt that they used for the piece as basically as like a pseudo title for the quote unquote artwork that they're using. But then again, people can also alter it as well. But I've mentioned that before, where I think that if you're going to use an AI generated image in your products, that you should be transparent about that up front, and not be taking credit for that piece of art. I'm using the term art loosely here because, like I've said before, I don't really consider it art. It's just an imitation of art, a simulacra of art, which is kind of redundant, seeing as how art in and of itself is a simulacra of the human experience. So it goes on to say, he believes AI image generators are, quote, not in the hands of artists right now. Oh yeah, that's the point I was going to make. So using whatever prompt you put in to generate these images, these art images on AI image generators, if that's the title of the work, then what that means is that's going to require you to disclose what it is exactly that you typed in as the prompt, as basically like a reference point. I guess it would only make sense that instead of crediting an artist, what you do is you reference the prompt. Like first you reference the AI app that you use, but you also reference the prompt that you put into that app in order for that image to be generated. Now, that would make it so you have to disclose that you used a specific artist's name when generating that image. So that's why I thought that this was an interesting point, because then people would know that whoever was using the AI generator was intentionally trying to mimic a particular artist's style when getting the image that they were looking for. So he said he believes AI image generators are, quote, not in the hands of artists right now. It's in the hands of early adopters of tech, end quote. Rakowski, who uses both digital tools and classic oil on canvas for his work, is worried that this explosion in imitation art means his style, which has seen him land deals with Sony and Ubisoft, might lose its value. Quote, we work for years on our portfolio, end quote, Rakowski said. Quote, now suddenly someone can produce tons of images with these generators and sign them with our name, end quote. It goes on to say, quote, the generators are being commercialized right now, so you don't know exactly what the final output will be of your name being used over the years. Maybe you and your style will be excluded from the industry because there'll be so many artworks in that style that yours won't be interesting anymore. So the article goes on to say, an explosion in imitation. More and more consumers are using AI image generators. OpenAI, which Elon Musk co-founded in 2015, made its DALL-E image generator open to the public in September. Before lifting the waitlist, OpenAI said the program already had more than 1.5 million users. Liz DeFiore, the president of the Graphic Artist Guild, an organization that supports designers, illustrators, and photographers across the U.S., said that the ease with which AI can copy styles could cause financial fallout for artists. Quote, artists spend a lot of time throughout their career and make a lot of income on being able to license their images and being sought after specifically for their style, she said. So if an AI is copying an artist's style and a company can just get an image generated that's similar to a popular artist's style without actually going to the artists to pay them for that work, that could become an issue. End quote. The article says U.S. copyright law only protects artists against the reproduction of their actual artworks, not from someone else mimicking their style. Some of the most popular AI image generators, which include DALL-E, Midjourney, and Stable Diffusion, have policies in place to prevent consumers from using their products in certain ways. So OpenAI, for example, prohibits the use of images of celebrities or politicians. All three programs block users from creating, quote, harmful content by filtering things like nudity and gore. To be honest with you, I've never used any of those AI generators or image generators. Don't plan to. I just find it interesting in how it's affecting the indie scene and it's affecting the market overall. And I'm keeping an eye on it as this develops. And it is interesting. And I think obviously the reason why that article came out and it's starting to go mainstream now is because of the fact that Elon Musk's co-founded OpenAI has just gone public. So I guess we'll see how things develop as that goes. I would say, I would say if you're going to be using that type of stuff, I would say be very careful about how, now that we've read that article, I would say be very careful about the way in which you use those images that are produced through those AI generators. Because it almost sounds like there is a case to be made in terms of copyright. Because as the article states that you're putting in the prompts in a search bar effectively. And basically what that's going to do is make it so basically be used as evidence. It could be used as evidence in a copyright claim type of case, I would imagine. Don't be surprised. Especially if you're using a specific artist's name in the search bar, because that implies intent, that the intent was to basically hack an artist's style or work, copy their work in some shape, fashion, or form. Now, I'm no lawyer. I don't know if that would actually hold up in court, but I'm just saying it's getting hairy. It's getting dicey. So it's nothing I plan on getting involved with. I'll just say that much. Not interested. I like my art the old-fashioned way, created by actual human beings.